So first of all, I see this like nighttime park scene, okay? And it's nighttime. There aren't a lot of people. There's no like police patrol cars. There are no like park rangers. So this man, he kind of sneaks out near the water. And then I guess he doesn't have like a fishing license or something. And in the United States, you have to have a fishing license in order to fish in any body of water. Okay. So he kind of sneaks around, and then he casts his net into the water. I mean, he casts his line into the water, and then he's hoping to catch something. Okay. So that's what he's doing. And he stays there, and he's pretty happy. He's kind of feeling smug that he's getting away with it. And then these joggers came by, these two really attractive female joggers. They came by, and I guess there's like they see him, there's a little bit of flirtation, conversation coming on. And then all I hear is like giggling from the women. And then he kind of tips his baseball hat at them, smiles at them. So there's like flirtation back and forth between him and these two women. And then they continue jogging, and they go off, and he's sort of like looking back at them, and then he's whistling, and then he goes back to fishing. When I saw this image, I feel like this is not you. I feel that you might be dealing with this type of a character where they're kind of opportunistic. You know, just imagine somebody who didn't want to acquire a fishing license, and now he's fishing in a body of water where he doesn't have the rights to fish. So he's purposely, it's like very premeditated. It's like something that it was planned, orchestrated, knowing that it's wrong, knowing that, you know, it's immoral, or knowing that it's against the law, or knowing that, morally that it's wrong. Okay. And so I feel like this person that you might be dealing with is a little bit opportunistic. They're opportunistic with the activities that they engage in, and the fact that, you know, he's flirting with these two women. I mean, it takes two, because, you know, the women were flirting with him as well. But what I'm seeing is just somebody that, like, you know, I'll take what I can get. You know, I'll take whatever is handed to me. I'll willingly take it. So I do feel you're dealing with someone who might be a little bit slimy. Okay. For some of you, I feel like it might be a relationship partner, honestly. And then for others, it's somebody in your midst that you have a lot of interaction with, or a lot of encounters with, okay? For some of you, like family members who willingly do the wrong things, okay? Just to see what they can get away with. Because I feel like, you know, it's somebody who, in their defense, they don't want to, you know, hurt anybody. Like they're not setting out to like injure someone, make somebody cry, but then I feel like their actions and their activities and the things that they get engaged in are a little bit morally dubious. It's not like they want to hurt anybody, but they themselves, like they have a very shifty sense of morality. Okay, so do be careful with people like this. People who can justify and rationalize why they do bad things. It's not a good energy to be around. Okay, so I feel like you're dealing with someone who can justify or rationalize. And then I do feel, honestly, small minority of you, this might be your energy where you're willingly engaging in something that you know you shouldn't get engaged in. And you rationalize, you know, so for example, what I do hear coming up is, well, you know, she was flirting with so-and-so, so I'm going to flirt with whoever is interested in me, okay? So that's what I'm hearing. Well, he was stealing office supplies, so it's okay for me to take the stapler and bring it home. You know, things like that. It's like, well, this other person, so-and-so, is doing it. Why isn't it okay for me to do it, okay? The thing is, you have to know yourself, and you have to know where your moral compass lies, and you have to, you know, like what other people do should not dictate what you do. Okay. Other people's sense of right and wrong should not affect or dictate your sense of right and wrong. Just because someone is doing it doesn't mean that you should follow suit. So I'm feeling here a situation where morality is very shifty. Some of you could be contemplating some type of getting involved in a situation that might be a little bit sketchy because of some payout, either emotional payout or financial payout. And, you know, it's like ethics and morality goes out the window because you're thinking more of the payout. You're thinking about more like, oh, I'll never get caught. You know, I'll never get caught. I'll never get in trouble. I just want you to be careful about that. And then on the other hand, if that's not you and you're dealing with somebody like this, I do see this energy of, you know, I'll never get caught. No one will ever know. If no one knows and if I don't get caught, it doesn't hurt anybody, right? Like, so that sense of like rationalizing, trying to justify something that you're doing based on the fact that it'll never see the light of day. No one will ever know. You know, it wouldn't really, in the greater scheme of things, hurt anybody. So I just want you to be a little bit aware of that and to be a little bit careful about that. Okay. So your reading, kind of like the Virgo reading, it's kind of split in half. And I'm going to relay the other information in a little bit, okay? First of all, I feel like there's a person and you're constantly, you know, looking at what they're doing. You could be checking up on them. You could be, either physically checking up on them or through social media or through some type of a distance, you know, like texting back and forth, checking up on them through instant messaging. There's something here where you're just like wondering what this person is up to. And the person seems a little bit sneaky. 8 of Pentacles, okay? Look at that, Fox. Okay, doesn't that scream out to you like I'm doing something shady over here, I'm turning my back and no one will see? So it seems a little bit sketch. So I feel like you're dealing with someone, possibly could be in your work environment. They could be like a subordinate where you're managing and you're overlooking and overseeing the things that they're doing. And you feel like your intuition is so sharp and you feel like they're up to something that is not good for themselves or not good for the organization as a whole. And you're gathering evidence or you're trying to gather information. You're, you know, I feel like you, honestly, you give people the benefit of the doubt. Okay. It's not like you're out there, suspicious of everybody. I feel like you're not suspicious, but you feel your intuition is really nudging you and it's telling you something's up. This person might be omitting information. When I said omitting information, I feel like, you know, for example, you ask them like, hey, what did you do today? They might, for example, you know, cut class or cut school or not gone to work. And they would tell you, oh, you know, I was at school or I was at work. Okay. Or they might like omit information. So for example, if they went somewhere where they're not supposed to, they would like say like, oh yeah, I was at school, which they were. And then, you know, omit the things that they don't want you to know. So it's somebody who's purposely lying, evasive, or like they're lying by omission, which, you know, people say it's a lesser offense, lying by omission, not giving the whole truth. But the reality is there's something evasive and slippery and slimy about this person. We have the moon here, and the moon is notorious for confusion, okay? Somebody who's purposely like either hiding the truth, lying by omission, or giving you so much information where you get confused. So the interaction between you and this person gets more and more confusing the more questions that you ask, because they know how to spin out a web of lies and they know how to cover the evidence. They know how to, you know, what I'm seeing is I see somebody walking over snow or sand or something that sinks, and it leaves their footprint, right? And then they get like a branch off a tree, or like a little thing off a tree, and then they wipe away their footprint. Somebody who's covering their tracks, somebody who's like adept at, concealing information, covering their tracks, getting rid of evidence. And I feel like your spidey senses are picking up this information from this person. You want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but your intuition is pretty much screaming out, they're up to something, they're doing something. They're covering their tracks. They're very good. It's like the escape artist, someone who's very, very good at getting themselves out of sticky situations, okay? There might be some of this happening in your work environment with a coworker, with a subordinate especially. I feel like you're in a higher position than this person. And so you're kind of keeping an eye on them, okay? So we have here the Hermit and the Eight of Pentacles. Literally seeing and knowing and keeping an eye out on this person to make sure, because your senses are telling you something is up. And it's associated here with the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands usually is a situation where we like a person, okay? They're someone who's very popular, someone who's very well liked, someone who's quite attractive and just charming. And, it's like the guy in the office that knows everybody's names, that can chat up anybody, that seems very likable. So I feel like you don't have any, bad track record with this person. They haven't done anything in your eyes to warrant suspicion or hatred or, and so you want to give this person the benefit of the doubt. I also feel like you might be quite attracted to this person. You might like them quite a bit. You might have feelings for them. You might, carry a torch for them. You might just like them. And so all of this is coming in a very unexpected way, okay? Where your intuition is telling you something, and you're trying to prove your intuition wrong even, because you have a soft spot for this person, okay? What I'm seeing with the Moon card, Knight of Wands is like really strong passion, and the Moon card is like an emotional connection. For some of you, I feel like you might be in a relationship with this person, and you might sense that they're either withdrawing, they're up to something. They might resort to a lot of like attention seeking. Okay. They might be like, if you guys have had, your ups and downs, they might like flirt with other people, talk to other people just to make you jealous. Okay. And I don't like saying this information. I don't like to, relay information related to relationships, because like we always know whether or not our relationship partner is faithful or truthful or otherwise. We always know. Our intuition is never wrong. Whether or not we are able to admit that to ourselves, that's another story. But I do feel this is not coming in as news to you guys, because you might have inkling. You might have already had encounters with this person that leads you to believe they are a certain way. So this is not like news. This is not a big revelation. There's no tower here to indicate to me that, oh, I had no idea. Okay, so I feel like I'm giving you information that you already know, that your hunches are already correct about. So I feel like there's somebody who might not be getting enough attention, and they're doing a lot of attention seeking. And I also feel as well, if you're in a relationship, especially if there has been problems, trust issues, estrangement, like if you haven't been talking, I feel like this person is like swirling away their assets, okay, covering their ass, doing something they're not supposed to, and they're covering their ass so that they don't get found out. But I do feel like in a way somebody is swirling away their money, swirling away their assets. If you are this, if you have any type of Sagittarius in you, like a strong placement in Sagittarius, even a Sagittarius sun, moon, or rising, you might also want to watch that video, because I did mention swirling away assets. Okay, so there's a situation here where things are very confusing. You want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt, but at the third hour, I feel like you can't ignore the signs anymore. That's what it feels like to me. Okay, so we're moving on here. So that's what I'm sensing. What we have here is the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords, this is a really troublesome card, because it usually indicates like a very cutthroat person. A situation where it's like, we're not interested in the truth. We're trying to prove ourselves right. It's a situation where winner takes all, okay? It's like leaving your opponent destroyed, not giving them any leg to stand on, like wanting to decimate the opponent. It's a situation where, you know, no good can come out of it. So there's a lot of bickering. There's a lot of clucking. There's a lot of like mindless back and forth. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really absolve anyone. It doesn't really resolve conflict. It doesn't really lead to anything. Okay. These are, what are they? They're roosters, and roosters have those, the sharp spurs on them. So if they ever get into like a fight, they tear each other to shreds. Like there would be blood drawn, right? And so that's what I feel like. It's like wanting to draw blood, wanting to argue just to be right, just to be proven right, just to, you know, put down the other person. So I feel like there might have been a situation here where there's a lot of conflict, where there's lack of resolution, where the two of you might be estranged or might not want to communicate with each other, because every time you communicate, it leads to conflict. Like there's just like, a lot of the times, couples or people can be very civil with one another. We can agree to disagree. We don't like each other, but we can remain, you know, civil. But I feel like in this situation, that's out the door. That's no longer an option, because there's a lot of distrust. There's a lot of like not liking one another. And there's just a lot of like spying and, you know, trying to get to the bottom of things, knowing the other person's up to something and trying to call them out on it, trying to get evidence, trying to catch them in the act. So I do feel this energy here. That's not healthy, okay? I would say whatever it is that you're looking for, it is going to come out to the surface. Whatever your hunches have been, you know, telling you, whatever your intuition has been warning you about, I feel like there's going to be some truth, some information, some clarity coming to the surface, where you look at the information that's given to you and you're just like, I knew it all along. So once again, this is not something new. This is just confirmation. And it's coming out here, King of Swords, communication, news, information, okay? And the sword energy deals with information. It deals with revelation. And with this big sword, it's like cutting through the confusion, getting straight at the facts. For some of you, there might have been an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, that you might have been in a lot of conflict with. I feel like a part of you really wants to salvage this relationship. A lot of you want to arrive at a truce with this person. A lot of you just want to, you know, smooth things out. Okay, you guys are not like conflict and ego-driven people. You guys are like the lovers of the zodiac, of all the 12 signs. You guys are like the lovers, the peacemaker, the caretaker, the nurturer. And so you don't want to be in a situation where you have to have your guard up, where you're constantly hypervigilant, where you're constantly, you know, operating on adrenaline. You don't like to be in that state. You like peace and harmony with your relationships. And I feel like time and time again, this person, I feel like they're a little bit more conflict driven. I feel like there's somebody here who takes things out of context. It's like, why are you twisting my words? Why are you, taking the things that I say out of context? Why are you purposely misinterpreting what I'm saying? So it's somebody who's, I feel a certain degree of somebody has been very hurt and they're on the defense. And so whenever the two of you communicate, things can be taken out of context. Things can be misinterpreted purposely and distorted because both parties feel very hurt. Okay, so it's a situation here. I feel like there's going to be some type of information, some type of truth, as well as some healing that can come out of this. We have here the Star. Okay, so I don't feel like it's a situation where it can't be fixed. But in this situation, somebody needs to kind of like step up, be the bigger person, and apologize.